Hi there. We're excited to have another opportunity to talk to one of our Bellingham Bell sponsors. And today we have Carla Heath from Whatcom Community College's International Programs. How is it going, Carly?
Going well. How are you?
Good. I'll start out by just telling us a little bit about what you do at WCC and a little about your role and kind of what the International Programs Division does, and then specifically what you do in the housing realm of that.
Yeah. So I'm an international housing manager. In international programs, we recruit international students to come to Whatcom, and then we provide all the student services they need while they're studying at Whatcom. My specific role is the housing piece of that. So I work both with students who are in our residence life program and in our homestay program. And I'd say probably the majority of what I do is managing that homestay program.
Okay. So I know a lot of people are familiar, obviously, with Whatcom Community College, but there might not be as much familiarity with international programs and just kind of how it works, how the students are housed. I know you guys have actually a really pretty robust housing program that you do, and it's actually a pretty big undertaking. So can you tell us a little bit about maybe like where the students come from, what kind of programs they're engaging while they're here in Bellingham, and then kind of how that housing program works?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'd say the majority of our students are from countries in East Asia. Most popular are Indonesia, Vietnam, and Japan. But we do get
Mhm.
students from over 20 countries. So every once in a while we get, a fun country that we haven't really had a student from before. We all get excited. Like this year we got a student from Kazakhstan. So that's been really cool. Just these places that maybe we don't know very much about. And then we get to interact with people from there. And it's been really fun. And then the program works that hosts apply to the program. I vet them, and then I make the placements based off of the host application and the student application, really just trying to make that best fit possible as far as the homestay program goes. And then in residence life, I just kind of, if anything specific that has to do with international students comes up, I help with those. But yeah, like I said, most of my job is our homestay program.
Right. And yeah, I know, our players who come from all over the nation, they also stay in host families. And one of the things that I always tell people is that it is providing like a tangible need, right? Like people need a place to stay, but it's really providing a lot more than that. It's providing like an experience and kind of like a window into Whatcom County. And oftentimes for our players, what really makes their experience are like the things that the host families take them to do and show them around town and things like that. So what are some of the things that the international students have really enjoyed doing with their host families when they've come here to Whatcom County?
Yeah, so every student is different, and we try to gauge that from the application. Some of our students are really outgoing and sporty, and they would love to go with the host family up to the mountain and ski and snowboard, or go sailing, or just walk. Or then we have like more easy students, I guess, in that way that they would just rather do a small day on walking at the boardwalk or hanging out in a park and enjoying Whatcom that way. But I'd say for the most part, our students are really open to whatever their hosts want to do. They just want, what's most important to them is that valuable time that they get to spend with their hosts, interacting and kind of learning how they live in Whatcom County. But our students do really enjoy it here. We have some students who even came to quarantine in Bellingham because it was home, even though they graduated years ago and are off at bigger universities on the East Coast and things like that. So it's really sweet. So yeah, it's all about making that right fit. We do have really studious students who, want to spend most of their time studying, and we try to gauge that level of interaction that both the host and student are looking for when we make placements.
Right. So, for fans who might be somewhat interested in this kind of experience and not really know what it entails, what does the host family experience, what are the, expectations, what is involved in being a host family? And what would somebody do if they thought they might, be interested in potentially learning more?
Yeah, so the three basic requirements are that you have an empty bedroom in your home for a student, not shared with any other family members, but of course they can share bath and all the other spaces. And the second requirement is that you live on a bus line or near a bus line so that the student can get to and from school within 45 minutes. So we do have a lot of hosts who live all the way out in Linden or Ferndale, and sometimes our students even find those commutes easier than certain neighborhoods in Bellingham. So it just depends, but I definitely don't want anybody to think that they're ruled out by living further out in the county, because we do have a lot of hosts out there as well. And then the food commitment is 3 meals a day. We only expect hosts to cook about 4 or 5 meals in the evening a week, and then the rest is just self-serve, having the food available for the student to make themselves. And then the time commitment, we also gauge based off of what the host is looking for and the student. We do have some short-term programs that are as short as 5 weeks, but I would say the common is between 1 quarter and 9 months is most average. We also have students who have lived with their host families for the full 2 years of completing their associate's degree, or even a few cases where they've gone on to Western and stayed in the home outside of our program after that, which is always really fun to hear about. So if you're interested, you can email me, just housing@whatcom.edu, or you can visit our website, and there's a good amount of information on there too.
Very cool. And I imagine, I know for our host families, one of the things they always say is their favorite part about it is just like you just mentioned, the long lasting relationships. I mean, do you see that a lot of these people keep in touch with their students long after they've left Bellingham?
Yeah, and we have a few cases where we've heard about students, coming back to visit, or the host going to visit them in their country, or even a few genuine exchanges where the host family has children who they send to live with their host students' family later on. One particular case in France we just wrote about on our blog, which is really cool.
That's really cool. Okay. So I know that you guys have been working for a little while at Whatcom, actually building a pretty large scale dormitory. I know you've had some residence life on campus, but this is more robust than probably what's been in the past. And so tell me a little bit about that, just kind of what that, how many students will be in there, and then will that include international students, or will international students continue to kind of do a blend of, host families and maybe some, living on campus?
Yeah, so I've had a few hosts who thought that our program was going to end with this new building opening up, and it's not. There will always be a need for homestay, because it offers a lot of things like language practice, being part of a family, and that cultural interaction that our students are looking for. But yeah, we'll see how many students end up living in the new res hall. It's yet to be determined. They're hoping to fill it. It has a little over 200 beds in it, and I think traditionally it's been about 50-50 domestic and international, but students will have that option when they apply to Whatcom to do either or. And the natural transition for a student most often is that they come and they live in homestay, and they kind of have that landing pad, and they learn a lot about the culture and the things they need in their day-to-day life. And then as they get more independent, they'll move into more independent housing like our residence hall.
Great. That makes sense. And then, I know you guys are at Whatcom Community College, and then in the International Programs Division, certainly involved in your community. The students and families are also involved, in the community, and you like to get them out to fun events. We always do a game with you guys every summer where all of the students and their families come out, and that's always really fun. But what are some of the other, partnerships that you have, or events that you take students to do, or, some of the other things that you do within our community?
Yeah, we try to do at least 4 events every year, and the Bells in the Summer is one of those. But we also do a holiday party every year for Christmas, which we usually hold at the Roeder Home, which is a great historic building that we love to tell the students about too, and kind of gives us an opportunity to share the history of Bellingham while also gathering. We usually just do potluck style and get everybody together. It's been really fun. If we have time in the fall, and that's a pretty big if, it usually depends on how big of an enrollment we have coming in, we try to do some kind of a welcome gathering for the students, and then the same thing at the end of the year, just for those students who are graduating, kind of an end of the year celebration. Try to show our gratitude to the hosts who have opened their home throughout the year, and that it's always great to have the hosts who have had students for 2 whole years, and then they get to see their student graduate with their associate's degree, and they're moving on to these big universities. And it's always a good time.
Yeah, that's really cool. So, okay, so if people are interested, is there like a certain time of year that you're looking for hosts, or is it kind of an ongoing, people could just reach out to you any time of year and kind of start that dialogue?
Yeah, we're always recruiting new hosts. Even if we have a good pool of hosts, which we do, we have some hosts who have been doing it for a really long time. There's always the need for a really diverse pool of hosts, so I have that ability to make that best possible connection. So we have a lot of students who don't want to live with pets or something, or maybe we have a student who's a smoker, which isn't very common. Just having the ability to find a home for any type of student that we have coming through. But yeah, usually our biggest push is during May, because we expect students in the fall. This year we're not sure. We're hoping for students in the fall, but it may more likely be winter of 2021.
Perfect. Well, thank you for joining us today. And yeah, if folks are interested, then go ahead. We'll go ahead and post the info that Carly shared in the text of this video, so you can get a hold of her if you are interested in learning more. And Carly, thanks for chatting with us today, and thanks for your guys' support of the Bells.